This is a Rhyacophila caddis larva from Randall Kaufmann's book, the Tyers Nymph Manual. This fly can be tied on a nymph hook size 12 to 20. I'm tying it on a 14, and I'm using a curved shank hook, putting down some weighted wire. Catch in those, wrap in the ends of the wire where I break it off. I'm using black thread. I'm tying the black thread in behind the eye, and then we'll wrap up over the weighted wire to tie it into place. And I can wrap back up again towards the eye and back towards the bend of the hook. That'll help that wire stay in place. Clip out my thread tag. The rib on this fly is green, either wire or thread or floss. I'm using some chartreuse wire that has a little bit of iridescence to it, and I am wrapping the wire down back around, or down around the bend of the hook, so that this larva has that little bit of a bend in it. The body is a light green. He says a cream green. I'm using some light olive because that's what I have. Of course, the best thing to do is to check the waters you're fishing and see what color the larvae are there. So make a dubbing noodle and wrap that up over the body. If I run out of dubbing, I'll just have to add a little bit more as I go, which looks like I'm going to. What I need to pay attention to as I'm doing the dubbing is to leave plenty of room for the thorax and not crowd the eye. And this is kind of buggy dubbing, so I'm going to probably do some cleanup. That's probably good. Leave about a third of the shank there. And then wrap the wire, and I'm going to counter wrap it. That's not necessarily in the instructions, but it's something that I've kind of developed a like for. That counter wrapping does work against the direction that the body is laid down in, and I think holds it in better. Whether there's any actual fly tyers evidence for that or not, I don't know. But catch that wire in then over the top of the wire, some securing wraps underneath of it, and then I can pull down on my thread, create some tension, and wiggle that wire, helicopter it, breaks off. For the thorax, I have mixed, according to Kaufmann's instructions, some black dubbing with the same light olive from the body, and give myself a nice noodle. And the thorax is a little heavier than the body is, but again, making sure that I don't crowd the eye. Wrap that up. And then I'm going to pull back over the eye and wrap the head, trying to make sure that I don't have fibers in there, and I think I do. I may have to clip those out afterwards. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap a black thread head. And then whip finish that. So really a very simple Caddis larva. Now Kaufmann says that he only puts 2 half hitches for his knot because he does lacquer the heads on his nymphs. I'm using some diluted goop, and I will just put a drop of that just on the head, and then I can come back later and make sure that my eye is clean. Although this goop that's been diluted tends to keep that eye fairly clean, it doesn't gum it up. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give this a little bit of a haircut. Because this is pretty buggy kind of dubbing. But what I do also want, I don't want a lot of extra stuff down here on the body part, but I do want some legs on it. So I'm going to take my Velcro and just pull out on the thorax. And if you don't have a Velcro brush, any other kind of brush that you might use for brushing dubbing will work. And then I'm going to take and just trim off the bottoms of those to create straight legs. Go back in and I guess blow it off. If it's got a lot of bug on it, I guess it's not too big of a deal. But a Rhyacophila caddis larva from Randall Kaufmann's book, Tyers Nymph Manual.